Hey y'all, it's Davey Mooney coming to you from UNT where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist. Got all the Sunnyside CDs up here. There's 5 of them, including Wayback. Got done with the Wayback mini tour. I'm heading to Brazil in about a week. Play some gigs down there and just keep it rolling. Got my 2 Mel Bay books, Into the Labyrinth and Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary. Gonna turn off my air purifier so we get some better sound. Man, y'all, it's semester's mostly done. We've done juries. We've done, I have some barrier exams, scale exams, and repertoire exams that we got through. Just have to do my grading and head to Austin for some Texas Tigers hockey and then Brazil. But before I go, I want to talk to you a little bit about Round Midnight. Now this tune, I know I talk a lot in these videos about how songs will have different chord changes and different melodies across the different versions. I think this one might just take the cake for the number of variations. My God, y'all, it's almost killed me just trying to prepare for this, and I feel like it's maybe a semester. You could do a whole semester on this one song, or you could do several weeks of a course just going through different versions and different variations and everything. My goodness. So it's written by Thelonious Monk. There's a couple other people's names on the composition, and it seems like it went through various. Oh man, it's so complicated. I think, was it Cootie Williams who first recorded it? Maybe Bud Powell was actually on piano, the Cootie Williams Orchestra. There's a Dizzy Gillespie version from, I think, 46 that I wasn't familiar with. And apparently it's that version, which was maybe Dizzy's arrangement, that added the intro and outro that some of us know. Monk in 47, with his The Genius of Modern Music recording, has some very different changes than what Miles played in Round About Midnight, where he added the word about to it. And maybe Gil Evans was involved with some of the arrangement right there. And to top it all off, when I first learned this song, I learned it from Wes Montgomery on the Wes Montgomery Trio, Dynamic New Sound, one of my favorite records of all time, favorite intros. But that intro has nothing to do with the intro that Dizzy and Monk and Miles play. I don't even remember what the outro is, if there is one on the Wes version. Monk's version doesn't have an outro. So yeah, it's a big hodgepodge. It's the beauty of it or the terror of it when you're trying to decide what the chord changes are. And I remember one time I did a gig in Szczecin. I'm pronouncing that. I'm probably butchering that. In Poland with Nicholas Payton's band back in like 2006. I remember he was like, "Let's play Around Midnight," and I was like, "Okay." Luckily, he was on piano, so I could piano and trumpet, so I could kind of figure out which changes he was playing. I don't remember at the time, but there's some spots where if you play the Miles changes and somebody else plays the Monk changes, it's not close. Other places it's close, and you could kind of mix and match them, but especially like the end of the bridge. So I don't know what I should start with. Maybe, so the intro that many people play, not Wes, you have a cycle of minor 7 flat 5s, like A minor 7 flat 5, and Miles he plays those sort of melody notes against it. Something like that. You have a 2-5 to E flat, and Miles has that rhythmic thing, sort of ostinato. Monk also has that intro, although the melody, you have the horns going, something like that. I'm probably going to mess some of this stuff up because I got so many things going through my head right now. Variations. And then there's this weird rumbly kind of bass figure that, I don't know, can't really figure out much about what's going on there. But so right off the bat, Monk's version, you have this immediate walk down against the melody. You have E flat minor over D flat, and then I think like a C fully diminished, although one of the horns is playing an A flat. Maybe they're doing like both of those notes. It's hard to tell with the fidelity of that recording and maybe some intonation issues. Sometimes what exactly is happening, but that's pretty different than Miles. Miles, they play E flat minor over B flat for a whole bar. Paul Chambers is playing B flat, and then C minor 7 flat 5, A flat minor, D flat 7. They both play that, A flat minor, D flat 7. And then let's see, I'm gonna confuse myself shortly, but Miles goes back to E flat minor over B flat. Monk, they go to E flat minor 6, and you have this. But on the Monk version, they go, which I love. They have this flat 9 at the top of the double styles, which is really cool. And then this part is really weird because everybody, and by everybody I mean, I don't know, my generation from the real book, and this generation, because I'm looking at the iReal Pro on my phone, has B minor, E7, B flat minor, E flat 7 for the next part of the song. And that's what Wes Montgomery plays to take you back to A flat minor. Miles plays, I swear to God, it's an F7, or like an F major 7 to F7 to E major 7 to A flat minor. And Monk, I think you got an F7, B flat 7, B flat minor, A7, something like that. It's kind of, again, it's hard to tell, but you know, very different. Miles plays different melody notes. Go figure. You know, he's Miles. You know, does what he wants. I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna tell him not to do it? Added a word to the title. Yeah, things are. It's a wild scene with this tune, y'all. So okay, where was I? Then we've got A flat minor. So what do different folks do there? So we got you know, Monk right there. He goes A flat minor, D flat 7, E flat minor to like D7. Miles and them go. Let's see. They go A flat minor, D flat 7, G flat major to A flat 7. And Wes goes, oops, A flat minor, D flat 7 to G flat major for a whole bar. And then the next bar you have, you know, C minor 7 flat 5, B7 on the first ending, the first A. I think that's what Miles does. Monk goes, let's see, he does the same thing. Wes goes G flat minor, B7. They all end up at B7, although I don't know, G flat minor and C sharp minor 7 flat 5 don't exactly blend that well. And then for the last bar of the A section, most people go to B flat 7. Wes goes F minor, B flat 7. I think the other folks just go to B7. B flat 7, sorry, I hope I didn't say that wrong. So my brain is already pretty scrambled, but then, you know, you go back through those changes. In the second ending, you have like, either you're on G flat, like, Miles is on G flat, Wes is on G flat, Monk is on E flat minor, going to D7. And then so the second ending, you have like C minor 7 flat 5, D7, B flat 7, E flat major, and various and sundry variations on that. Wes has got, Miles has got. They all kind of end up on E flat major. Then the bridge, we have this. Miles does like C minor 7 flat 5, F7, B flat 7 twice, which is nice for the first 4 bars. Wes goes B7 for a whole bar, real bluesy, to B flat 7 for a bar. Then he makes some 2 5s, G flat minor 7, B7, F minor 7, B flat 7. What does Monk do? He goes C minor 7, flat 5, B7, but the B7 hits on B2, then a whole bar B flat 7. And then he does it again, but I feel like the B7 hits on B3 the second time, B flat 7. And who knows, maybe they got there early the first time or late the second time or both, I don't know. I crack myself up sometimes. All right, so then, let's see. I'm scrolling between 3 different versions here to not confuse myself. And that's actually what the iReal has as well. So then we got, let's see, let's start with Miles. We got F minor, A flat minor 7, F minor 7 flat 5, B flat 7, C minor 7 flat 5, F7. And with Wes, we've got, let's see, what do we got, Wes? We got A flat minor 7, D flat 7, G flat major, B7. Kind of different, not the same thing really at all. Monk's got A flat minor 7, F minor 7, B flat 7, C minor 7, flat 5, F7. So he's got the same thing as Miles there. And then the last four of the bridge, there's a lot of variation there. So Miles goes B flat. This is how I first learned it: B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat minor, D flat 7, G flat minor, B7, F minor, B flat 7, back to the top. Hope I said all those chords right. Monk goes D flat 7 to B7 or C flat 7 to A flat minor to F minor 7, B flat 7. Not the same thing at all. And Wes, not to be outdone, I guess he does kind of starts like Monk. So he goes A flat minor, D flat 7, G minor, C7, G flat minor, B7, F minor, B flat 7. So he's just like, I'm going to do my own thing, y'all. It's cool. There's probably some other version. I noticed a lot of the songs on A Dynamic New Sound are close, the arrangements are close to some Art Blakey stuff. So maybe there's an Art Blakey Around Midnight that has similar changes to this, but I don't know. I think three versions and an app on the phone that everybody uses is enough for me. And then, the last bit, it goes back. Monk does his walk down. Miles does his thing over B flat. They all do their same thing, and it's basically the second ending again. And so the outro, you have on Miles's version and a lot of versions. You have the C minor 7 flat 5 Dizzy Gillespie's version to F7 twice, then F sharp minor to B7, F sharp minor to B7, B minor to E7, F minor 7 to B flat 7, and then it's funny in the app when I was playing on the track. They have, for the last couple bars, the outro, they have E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat 7, E flat major, which is not exactly what I heard anybody do. I'd have to go back and listen to Dizzy's thing, but Miles's thing, you have this like... So Paul Chambers goes like B flat, E flat, A flat, F, B flat, and they end on an A flat sus. And the horns do a thing. I don't know if I can play all this together, but it's like. But it was funny when I was soloing on the, because I don't know how to program the phone very well. I just played on those changes, and I was like, this doesn't sound like any version I ever heard. But maybe when people are playing this song on gigs, they're going to play that E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat at the end. Or maybe that's a version I don't know. This song is, I'm a little bit befuddled. I guess I would probably always default to something resembling the original real book changes that I first learned. And I just get confused. I just hope that there's like a chart somebody can give me, or they talk through it. They're like, these are the chords I play. Because I don't know anybody that goes F7 to E major 7 on the A section, then to A flat minor, D flat 7. But Miles is a lot of the time the model for how people play the songs, right? With the chord changes. I mean, he is sometimes, and sometimes he's not. And I think we don't really acknowledge how arbitrary maybe it is, just the chords that we play anyway. But before I play on the harmony from the iReal, I'd like to talk about the intro that Wes does. I love so much because it's one of the first things I ever heard on a jazz guitar album, because it was one of the first jazz guitar albums I bought. You put it on, and this is what you hear. You hear like a E flat minor to A flat 7, and he plays that. Then A flat minor, D flat 7, G flat 7 to an E7. He goes. I forgot. I messed up the last part. I love that version, and I remember I tell my students that some of those notes were just so magical to me. Like I understood. I mean, I didn't know the song, but I could tell that this was okay. An E flat minor 9 arpeggio. I knew what that sounded like, and then A flat minor. I was like, okay, he slides into it, but here's an A flat minor I can see that. But then on the D flat 7, these notes here. He's playing like a D minor sound on a D flat 7, resolving to the 5th of G flat. And I remember I had to, that kind of really piqued my interest and my fascination with jazz guitar and like, what were those magical notes? And I talk about this in the book, I think both of my books, how, I remember going to Hank Mackey and him telling me about the jazz minor scale. The idea that you play an ascending melodic minor scale up a half step from a 5 chord that goes 5-1 and you get all those magical dissonant notes. But you have to be careful with them and treat them, and I was hooked at that point. And it's still kind of magical to me. Like, why is it that a minor sound up a half step? And it has to do with counterpoint and intervals, and maybe just one of those mysteries. So anyway, I'm going to play over the tune. I'm going to play one chorus, and I'm going to hew to the closely to the exactly to the changes in the iReal, just because I feel like that's these days what the if I can say what the kids will be playing. The younger generation, when they all whip out the phone. I mean, some of them know some tunes, but if we're being honest, I think most of them rely on their phone as we rely on our phones for everything. So it's it's the iReal, like we used to cart along the real book, and we had to memorize things because we were ashamed to like pull out that book from our bag and put it up on a music stand. But so I use these chord changes, and they're they sort of split the difference between the the various versions, which is one way to do it, given that there's so much variation. I guess you got to come up with your own one. So, all right, Round Midnight, one of the classics. Hope you enjoy.